Hey everyone, and thank you for tuning in into a new episode of NCIXPC, I guess in front of the scenes. My name is Ivan, and I'm here today to talk about single GTX 670 versus dual 650 Ti boosts performance. Now, a couple of weeks ago, NCIX had its 17th anniversary, and to commemorate that fact, we have released a limited edition system, the Akimbo. Immediately after the launch, the comments got flooded with discussion of why did you guys go with dual 650 Ti boosts in SLI as opposed to single, more powerful solution. Now, as you know, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. So we decided to give you guys some hard data about how the two approaches stack against each other. So what makes an SLI system? There's actually three components. You need a well-ventilated case, you need an SLI compliant motherboard, and you need an adequate power supply. In this case, pun intended, we took a Fractal's design Archimedes R2, rotated its drive cage 90 degrees, removed the drive caddy so that the front intake fan delivers the airflow directly to the graphics card's area. Second component is having the SLI qualified motherboard, and these days the SLI certification can be found on even mid-range boards, and chances are if you're looking for a pretty powerful gaming system, you are not going to skimp out on the motherboard to begin with. The third component is a power supply. In this case, we have used Fractal Design's Integra Series 650 watt power supply, and it was found more than adequate for all of our needs, even when the system was overclocked, and we will have some power consumption numbers for you guys later on. Alright, and now down to some benchmarks. First up, we have compared the two solutions in the Firestrike part of the new 3D Mark benchmarking suite at Extreme preset. And the results are as follows. The 650 Ti boost have yielded 2638 score, as opposed to a single 670 scoring 2625. So in this case, the results are pretty much identical. Next up, we have the new Valley benchmark by Unigen. Actually, one of my favorite parts about this benchmark is the background music, so sometimes Brian and I would turn it on to run on one of the machines in the office just so we can have our gigahertz serenaded all properly. Anyway, so the results that we got is the SLI 650 Ti boosts provided the average score of 48 FPS with a minimum of 25.4, whereas a single 670 came in with 38.3 average and 20.7 minimum. Next up, we have Crysis 3. What we did is we maxed out in-game quality settings to ultra, 1080p resolution, and we did not use anti-aliasing. Then we played to the opening part of the game up to the point where you get the bow.
That kills rhinos.
No rhinos were hurt during making of this movie. Now, the results we got were pretty interesting. The SLI setup has provided 52 FPS average and 40 minimum, whereas a single 670 came in with 39 average and 26 minimum. That's a pretty significant difference, even more so than in the Unigen Valley benchmark. Now, finally, we have the new Tomb Raider. What we did is we maxed out the in-game quality, set the resolution to 1080p, and enabled the Tress effects, hair effects. And then we played through the early part of the game in which you actually get to fight against a pack of wolves. And I'm pretty sure that Lara Croft wished that she had the Crysis bow during that sequence. Now, the results we got were as follows. The SLI setup has provided 58 average FPS and 37 minimum, as opposed to a single 670, which came in with 42 average and 27 minimum. Keep in mind that we actually have reran the benchmark 3 times in each case, just to make sure that results are repeatable, and that keeps on happening time and time again. So, at least in the benchmarks that we have run, the dual 650 Ti SLI setup consistently outperformed a single GTX 670. So the question is, how come everybody is not running dual lower end cards? Well, there's actually 3 downsides to running a twin graphics card setup. Now, first up, we have the increased power consumption. Dual 650 Ti boosts ended up consuming 360 watts, whereas a single GTX 670 only pulled in 270. That means almost 100-watt delta in power consumption. And that also resulted in proportional increase of heat emission from the system altogether. Now, second thing is software compatibility. You see, SLI, just like any kind of multiple card solution, requires existence of an updated profile in the driver as well as compatibility from the game itself. And in some games, especially the older ones, dual cards don't work at all. Now finally, we have something known as micro-stuttering. Basically what happens is your FPS is rather high, but the image on the screen is a little bit jittery, and that reduces the enjoyment from the gameplay. So there you have it, guys. Dual 650 Ti boosts in SLI ended up providing the same or higher performance at the expense of higher power consumption, potential incompatibility with some of the games, as well as occasional micro-stuttering. But there's also a very important part to remember that if you have a dual graphics card system, next time you're doing the awkward guns, you can do this. Don't forget to subscribe for more awesome videos in SLI and stuff.